What to expect in therapy with us. If you're an adult, you can expect a qualified, passionate, and committed therapist that will support you in meeting your goals. With adults, it really depends and it's very individualized how often you come, for how long you come. Some adults like to come weekly, some bi weekly, and some come for short periods of time, or some like to know that that ongoing support for a year or 2 years or more is there. You can work with your therapist to develop a plan. For kids, especially ages 2 to 12, we have a set process that we like to at least start with. So we found that kids can grow and heal pretty quickly when there's focused intention and when parents are heavily involved. So we plan for 12 weeks. Parents will come in for an intake session for an hour with your therapist, just parents and the therapist to share background, learn about the process, set goals, get to know your therapist. And then your child will come in weekly for 12 weeks. We do meet with parents at the end of every session for 10 to 15 minutes to give you updates on what we're working on, what we're learning from your kiddo, what might be helpful to implement at home. And then your kiddo is the one really doing the hard work, being in the therapy room, getting to know themselves more, learning new skills to regulate, and moving towards those goals that you've set. But we also often ask kids what their goals are. We also have a lot of extra parenting support. So there's a parenting program that you have access to that we recommend taking one module per week while your child is in therapy. And we found that with all of this intention and with setting a really clear container of support, the 12 weeks that has a beginning, middle, and an end, a lot of progress can happen. And we've heard from a lot of families that they really like this approach rather than maybe a therapist they went to before, where they met for 6 months or a year or more and didn't really know what was happening, what the goals were, what they were doing. Because we ultimately have really individualized plans for each kiddo, some children do need more of the ongoing support, or parents just feel attached and they say, can we keep coming weekly or bi-weekly, more ongoing? So we can be there for you. And it's not like done at 12 weeks, but I would say 90% of our families feel really good about that amount of time. We also have kids that come back a year later or 2 years later when they're working towards different treatment goals at a different developmental stage. But something we love about our program is that we have the set 12 weeks. And then that sometimes when working with trauma or like really difficult events, especially if it relates to attachment and relationship, that can take a little bit longer. Like there may need to be more time creating trust with the therapist. But when we're working on sensitivities, anxiety, behavior problems, we've found that the 12 weeks is really our sweet spot. For teenagers, it's also pretty individualized. Some families want to start with the 12 weeks, some want every other week, more ongoing. It really depends on that family. But with teenagers, we also work closely with parents and share updates and support parents along the way. Something that we pride ourselves in is that we're not afraid to work with parents. We love that. We think it's so important. And ultimately, we want to take the baton for a little bit and support your child in healing and growing, but then hand the baton back to you. And at the end of the process, if you follow the 12-week model, you've taken the parenting course that you have access to along the way, we'll do a closing session with you where we review everything that was covered in the 12 weeks so you feel like you have some closure and plans moving forward to support your child for the long run.